I think I see someone. She's dragging her trunk down the street.
Al, give her a hand.
Hey, over here.
That's right.
Thanks, Dad.
Can I get a open?
No Man presents, live from the nudie bar, the Married with Children podcast. And here are your hosts, Dan, Jamie, and Al. You heard it, guys. It's the Married with Children podcast. My name is Al.
Isn't it weird that you have the same name
Hey,
as...
I was talking to Kelly.
This is Jamie, and I'm a little bit hungry.
What's up, guys? This is Dan. What's up, Alex? What's up, Jamie? Jamie, I'm sorry I spilled prune juice on your blouse.
It kind of looks stylish, if you ask me.
I think so.
I thought that was just her shirt, and then I'm like, wait a minute.
I did too. And then I can't stop looking at it for the rest of the episode.
Me neither.
I keep staring at it.
Yep, so guys, we're reviewing Fair Exchange, Season 4, Episode 6, original air date October 29th, 1989, right around Halloween. When the Bundys take a foreign exchange student to earn extra cash, Kelly gets more than she bargained for from the French sexpot. Sexpot is what she is.
She is a sexpot.
This was directed by Jerry Cohen, written by Al Adichman and Ron Levitt. Now, Al, the writer, he...
Dynamite job, Alex.
Dude, I can't do these names. He wrote like about 7 or 8 episodes, so he's going to be here for a little while. He wrote a bunch in 1995, so he will return, thank God. Guest stars on this episode, Milla Jovovich, Richard Israel, Greg Thompson, and Douglas Johnson. So, this episode starts off in classic Bundy fashion.
Kids, I gotta tell you, I love the day after Thanksgiving. We already got that giving thanks crap out of the way, and we get to have leftovers. Peg, is it ready yet?
Here it comes.
You know, Daddy, that was a great idea last night. To only eat the cheese so we'd have the crust for today.
Yeah? I bet a lot of other stupid families ate their whole pizza last night. Now today they're probably just looking at the old empty cardboard box.
Wait, if this aired October 29th, why would they be doing a Thanksgiving episode?
And more noticeably so, in a few episodes, there's a Christmas episode, correct?
Yeah, about 4 or 5.
Yeah, right. But that's what I'm saying. So if this was in a normal timeline, that would have to be like an episode a day.
Well, the title of this episode, Fair Exchange, that is a movie/60 TV series. But yeah, it's a little skewed that way, I guess.
I can't do it. Dad, I think I speak for us all. This really bites the big one. Why can't we have turkey like real people?
They all seem into it like this is a great privilege. And then Bud just kind of gets real, and he's like, this is...
He just can't do it.
Yeah, I just can't do this.
It's like, can't we be like all the other people?
Right. Like, shouldn't he be cultured in this behavior enough that that's what is normal to him?
Yeah, Kelly even said it was a good idea.
Right.
Oh, yeah, she's all into it.
Well, we might as well face the facts. This food thing isn't going to go away. We've got to get some money here. There's got to be something here we can sell.
How about Mom's engagement ring?
Kelly? Now that ring is a symbol of our love. We could never put a price on that.
That's right, honey. Like they say, glass is forever.
Hey!
Oh, come on, Al. I had it appraised the day after our wedding.
Like, I used to say this joke to my wife in front of people that she wanted to kill me for. I don't know if it was like I was leading up to the engagement ring or whatever, but
this is going to be good.
Well, my joke always was, Oh, yeah. I didn't stop till I found the most beautiful cubic zirconian that they had. And she always said, would you stop that? Because I guess that's a major insult for an engagement ring. So
She's like, people are going to think you're serious.
And I'm like,
I am.
I am. Why do you think I still have money? Yeah, rings are crazy, man. Like 1 carat, I think, is like $5,000, and that's if you get like a blood diamond.
Now, do you think it's a normal practice? Because when Peg said she got it appraised the next day, I could seriously, like, I know so many of my friends that would totally do that. Jamie, is that like a normal practice?
You know, well,
Maybe not the next day.
probably is because people want to insure their rings. But honestly, I've been married for almost 2 years, and I still haven't gotten my ring appraised. And I've been meaning to do that, the whole time, and I keep not doing it. So
She keeps having a podcast.
Right?
She's like, all right, well, we're doing fair exchange, so maybe next weekend.
Yeah, I need to, though, for insurance purposes. But
All right.
I do think it's interesting she did it the day after the wedding.
Right.
Yeah, they're not very sentimental about anything, so.
We could sell these.
Oh, yeah, my English book. Oh, I ain't got no use for that.
Honey, these school books are very important to your future. Oh, who am I kidding? Let's see what condition they're in.
Well, let's see. Oh, what do we got here? What's this? Detention, expulsion.
That's obviously different from being suspended. If she was expelled, then why is she still going back? Like, she's not registered anymore, right?
Well, we find out later she doesn't really go to class anyway, so they probably don't even notice she's there.
Now, here's something interesting. Host a foreign exchange student receive $500 a month expenses.
And then you receive $500 a month for expenses, which in today's money is $1,000 a month, which sounded pretty good to the Bundys.
That's what we'll do, Peg. We'll get us one of those $500 a month foreigners.
Yeah, I don't know, honey. You don't have much room. Where are they going to sleep?
Well, what's the garage for?
I know. It's for the car.
We'll move it over to the side.
Yeah, but it's freezing in there, Dad.
Hey, I didn't say we should sleep in the garage.
It's funny because when they're contemplating where she's going to sleep, they don't even consider anywhere that's remotely nice. Like, they don't say the basement or the couch or anything like that. They go immediately to the garage.
Dude, it's not like we got to sleep in the garage. They all laugh.
Yeah, isn't it cold? Well, I didn't say we were going to sleep there. And then we find out later, he says, that we're going to get that garage door fixed and it'll come all the way down pretty soon.
We saw her outside burning leaves to stay warm.
Yeah, and it's December in Chicago.
Right. Well, technically it's November.
Well, by the time she
It
gets
aired
there.
October 29th.
Yeah, but by the time she gets there, wouldn't it be December? Because it's, how fast could they get her over there, right?
That was another thing that I was going to bring up. Because, yeah, I don't mean to jump ahead here, but when she comes in and then they're scouring her bag for money or anything, right?
Well, mostly the check, yeah.
Mostly the check, right? But why would she have that on her? Like, why? Like,
Yeah, I was wondering that.
like,
Apparently she did, and I didn't get that. Oh, they're just going to hand a check to. Here's here you go, and here's a check for $500. Give it to your
right
sponsor or whatever. I don't know. I never had a foreign exchange student at my house.
I have a bunch of friends that do that. It's like a big thing around here.
Yeah? Yeah, you would think everybody would do it, right? Especially like those weird families who have kids just to get more money and stuff. Like, you would think, why don't they do this?
And it really is beneficial for everyone too, because they're college students, and it's cheap rent for them anyways. You know what I mean? And it's just basically, yeah, it's a good deal. I have a lot of friends that do it, and they love it.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I never have seen a foreign exchange student, or not that I knew. Definitely never had one in my house. My parents wouldn't even consider that.
You didn't see any when you were in school? Like there were
Not that I know. Like they never said, "Hey, this new kid in our class is a foreign exchange student." No.
My best friend in high school hosted a foreign exchange student. He was from Chile, and she hated him.
Why?
Like he got on her nerves, and I felt really bad for the guy because, she was really his only connection to getting acclimated to school and everything. And she ignored him and like left him all on his own. And I always felt so bad for him because I'm like, hey, dude, help him out. And she's like, he's annoying. Oh, he's not annoying. He's foreign. He can't help it.
Poor kid knows nobody. He doesn't have any friends. All he wants is just to like talk to a girl.
Well, speaking of girls, so Yvette.
I wonder when little Yvette will get here.
Kelly. I believe her name is pronounced Yvette.
I was pronouncing it in English.
Oh, man. What a break. Getting a 17-year-old French babe. Oh, the times we'll have.
Don't go boinging around the house just yet, Toad Boy. Frenchie's all mine. At last, I'll have like a sister. A real girl. Not just a boy trapped in a pimple's body.
Yvette is played by Milla Jovovich.
Really? Yeah, but and too, because of a future show that we're doing unrelated to this podcast, how relevant that is.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's weird, dude. Yeah.
Dazed and Confused.
Yeah. She's only in it for about 2 seconds. I think she's in it for like 2 scenes in the whole movie.
Yeah, she just
right?
like plays a guitar and rolls a joint.
Right. Yeah. But I'm thinking, though, in the 80s, though, because she was a model back then.
Oh, I believe that.
This has got to be one of her first things.
I think it's
right?
like her fourth acting role.
Okay. All right.
She plays a French girl, but she's actually a Ukraine-born actress, supermodel, fashion designer, and singer who's on more than hundreds of magazines. And her big films are The Fifth Element, Ultraviolet, and the Resident Evil franchise, which started in 2002. She was also in pretty notable movies like Chaplin with Robert Downey Jr. She was in both Zoolanders, if people like those, and she is in the upcoming Hellboy movie that's coming out in 2019, and it's in post-production. She made it very big. She has a net worth of $36 million. So, yeah, she's doing fine. I gotta say, though, I don't know if it's the covers or the commercials or the images I saw, but I never... Resident Evil never appealed to me, but I know it made a great video game or something, or like it came from a video game or something like that.
The video games, yeah, I'm a big fan of the first, the second, third wasn't bad. The fourth was excellent. Fifth and sixth, not so much. The seventh one that came out last year was incredible. And the movie series... The first one, though, it had really little to do with the video game because they do they used it as kind of like a jumping off point, but it wasn't like dead on the video game. So it was kind of disappointing to a lot of people. I think it was fun in its own respect, but beyond the first one, I didn't really care for them.
Wow. I had no idea that they were that not beloved.
They're also just fun, over-the-top action flicks. I mean, and it works for the game. Yeah, and I agree, Jamie, too. Like, I had a blast playing this game back in the day. I don't know which ones. I didn't even know they made 7. I kind of assumed, actually. But with the movies, they're kind of hit or miss. Like, they made some later in the franchise with, what was it, the one in the jail there where she crashes the plane and they're trying to get on the ship. Dude from Sons of Anarchy's in it and whatever. They're okay. Like, they're fine. But I wouldn't call them beloved though.
Right, I guess not. Yeah. I mean, I thought they were because there were so many.
Well, yeah,
Right.
I'm kind of surprised they made as many as they did. I guess perhaps they have their audiences, but to be honest, like starting with the second one, when the second one came out, it was they were doing the choppy editing, and the camera work was so zoomed in that you couldn't really tell what was happening during the fight scenes. And it was one of the first films to piss me off doing that. And I remember because I reviewed that one when it came out, and I was angry because I couldn't see anything because it was just
zoomed in. Yeah.
It was annoying. And so that was that became like a big thing back in, everyone was referring to the MTV editing back in the day. And this was one of the first films that that outright made me angry doing that. So
you know what mine is? Batman Begins. Like I love that movie, but during the fight scenes, they zoom in so much, I can't tell what Batman's even doing.
Christopher Nolan's fighting style, the way he shoots it is ridiculous.
Oh, it's horrible. That always pissed me off. I was like, why is it so close up? Like, I can't even see what's happening here. And I hated it.
You know why? Because they didn't do that in The Dark Knight Rises.
No, I don't think they did it again, no.
No, they didn't. But remember in the Catwoman scene where it's the guy's just falling down by himself?
Oh, God. Remember that?
That's what happens.
Hello, my name is Yvette.
Hello. Welcome to our country. We have so many questions to ask you. What's your country like? How was your trip? Where's our money?
I apologize for the animals. I'm Bud Bundy, your love interest. And this is Mom and Dad.
And I'm Kelly. You'll be going to school with me, so if there's a hiney to be kissed around here, it's mine. Oh, my, you are so attractive. Are all American girls as beautiful as you? In their dreams.
She's beautiful, though, man. And say what you want about, I think she gets caught up in that whole thing where it's like, oh, she's so hot that she can't act or whatever. I've seen her in some stuff where I totally disagree. I think she can act. I think she's pretty damn good. She's even good in the Resident Evil movies, you know? She had her character's pretty badass, you know? I'm not saying
that's true. She is. And I actually, if there's one thing that I take away from those films, it's that I do enjoy her. Like I like watching her. I think she's pretty badass, and you know.
Well, she has tons of acting credits, so somebody thinks she could act. Otherwise, they think that people just want to see her on TV or the screen or something. You know, like people just want to stare at her. Either way, but they get her on. So
It'll be great. I can teach her about American guys, and she can help me by carrying my school supplies. You know, like my music, my Walkman, my overnight bag.
Well, I assume her overnight bag is because she whores around.
Oh my God.
Right.
Like, who is it? Oh, like in the Breakfast Club, Ali Sheedy has panties in her bag, and she's like, because you never know where you're going to have to jam.
Oh my God, that's Kelly.
Well, so here's the thing with that too, though. I think that later on in the episode, when she's kind of playing naive, I think that's all an act. Because in the beginning of the episode, when she's just like, "Oh, you're so pretty" or whatever, and then by the end, she's like ragging on Kelly.
Maybe like it's one of those things like when you become famous and everybody in the world loves you, you instantly become a jerk and stuff. Like I wonder if that's kind of what went on. You get jaded instantaneously once all this stuff is thrust upon you. So,
oh, by the way, that top that Kelly was wearing when they had that exchange.
Oh. God.
Did it look like she had, like, her at first when she turned around because she was at the door and she said something about Yvette, and then they had that whole exchange. When she turned around, I thought her nipples were popping out.
Oh, they were.
Oh my God, they were.
Then I thought those were like doodads on her top because there were a bunch of them.
No, they were out all episode in different outfits too. They were out on display.
That actually was her nipples. Okay.
I don't know. I assume.
I just remember noticing them this watch, but I don't remember exactly where, so that must have been it, if you did. So Alan Peg go through her suitcase. Yvette says,
Well, I am so happy to be in Chicago, land of the Cubs and the big wind.
Al.
Well, it wasn't me.
So Peg thought that when she said the big wind, that Yvette was immediately referring to Al farting in that moment.
I would love to talk for hours, but I'm cold and tired. Where will I be sleeping?
My room is this way. The left side of the bed is for you.
Now, how hot would that be? Like, every time Bud says that, it just takes me back to when I was like 15 years old. And can you imagine this girl, just naive, stunningly hot French girl in a mini skirt? Oh, yeah, come on, honey, just go in my bed and we'll sleep next to each other. Like, and this really happening?
I think Bud was serious too. Like he really thought he was gonna get some.
Well, I don't know why would Al and Peg even care? They'd be like, yeah, whatever. Like I think they would say that, but then they decide to have a parental moment now. Like after all you have neglected us and all this other stuff, now you're gonna care that I have a girl sleeping in my bed? Seriously?
Yeah, it only seems like they care when it's like a burden on them financially or something. Obviously, with this episode, with Kelly and her grades as opposed to this chick and her grades even later on. But yeah, whenever they make a decision like that without some pettiness behind it, it's like, oh, wow. So, okay. So that's wow. Okay. So they're trying to be parents now. Okay.
No, honey, you'll be staying in the guest room next to the car.
Yeah. Now, if it's a little chilly in there, don't worry about it. We're going to try to get that garage door down real soon.
Got it. $500.
Well, I've had a long flight and a long walk from downtown, so I'm a little hungry. Do you think I could have a little bite?
So the Bundys find the check in her big overcoat or whatever. They run immediately out of the house to start buying food, I guess. Now we are in the high school. So that's cool.
It's either Bayside High or Angel Grove High School.
Yeah. This is the opposite of what Bayside High looked like. Pretty gross. It's cool to see. It's cool to see the school. It's very Bundys.
Oh, that's another set.
A new set. Yep. The sets just keep on coming. So that's good. This show pretty much, in the first season or so and a little bit of the second, they weren't really traveling that much out of that living room. But from season 3 and on, it seems like they really kicked into high gear and they're not really letting up yet. So that's good. And they shouldn't as the show gets more and more popular. Which it's almost at its peak right now. I think the peak of this popularity was season 4, 5, and 6.
Well, Alex, I got to tell you, too, that so I've only been on this show for a short time now, but thus far, this probably has the scene that made me laugh the most.
Yeah?
Out of everything so far. And it was definitely on purpose, but it wasn't even a line or anything.
And it's coming up or later?
It's in the hallway. Yeah. But continue. Yeah, I'll bring it up in a minute.
Yeah, as soon as it happens, let me know if I miss it.
Yeah.
She says, we've been in school for hours. Are we going to be going to a class at some point? That is great. And you think they just got there because they still got their coats on, so it's funny to hear that in juxtaposition to what you're seeing,
I'm sorry. What happens next?
Well, first we'll meet some boys.
How do we do that?
And Kelly drops her, fall coat. And wow, this tight red dress she's wearing is unbelievable. About 12 guys rush over immediately.
Yep.
And this one guy, his name is Bob on the show.
They gave him a name.
Yeah, they did. He immediately gets roid rage, and he's like, "Hey, I was talking to Kelly."
Hey, I was talking to Kelly.
Everyone's trying to get Kelly's attention, but he's the one who roid rages out and starts getting angry. and like
the alpha male.
Yeah, the alpha man. Hey, I was talking to Kelly. And that is just so funny to me. Like, they have one guy that we focus on. He says something.
Yeah.
Then I found out later why he even spoke, and it's because he's like a real actor with a SAG. Like, I don't know if to be the other guys in the background, you don't need like a SAG card, do you? Or do you need?
No.
Okay.
No. As a matter of fact, you can't get your SAG card if you've never spoken a line.
So he must have had it. So they figure we'll use it anyway, since he has it, because his name is Douglas Johnson, and he made his rounds in TV, Doogie Howser, MD, Charles in Charge, Baywatch, but beyond that, I think he did like 8 different things, and he was done acting. So, but that's why he was able to speak. Kelly kind of like just walks away from these guys, and they just stay where they are.
Oh, you are so popular.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of like the Beatles of the 20th century.
20th century.
So stupid.
Which I think is, I love that line because it's so subtle that a lot of people probably didn't even catch it.
Right.
Because she just kind of slips it out there. No one corrects her. No, I mean, no big deal is made out of it. She just slides it out there, and you're like, wait a minute.
Right. Yeah, Yvette's certainly not going to correct her.
Now, do what I did.
Oh, no, I'm far too shy.
Go ahead. Maybe you'll get one.
So Yvette takes off her hat, and as soon as she does that, I mean, that's a pretty quick foreshadow of the next moment.
Well, I was waiting. I mean, as soon as you see them turn the corner wearing those long coats, you know it's coming.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was waiting for the moment when Kelly would drop hers, and then I assumed the next step would be for Yvette to drop hers. I'm pronouncing it in American.
Right.
We can't complain.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, man, I'm going to have a rough time editing this show.
I'm sorry, in English. I think she actually did say English. She wasn't that stupid.
An American.
She failed French, too.
So Yvette drops off her coat, and she's wearing this hot, tight, like, black dress.
And I was disappointed.
Ooh.
What? Really?
I was. Yeah. Okay. Kelly is wearing this bright red, super tight dress that looks really hot. And Kelly has a lot of curves, and she looks good.
Blonde hair.
So, there's a lot of contrast. You know what I'm saying? Like, she stands out. So I was waiting for Yvette to be dressed just as hot or as hotter, right? To me, when she dropped her coat, it was disappointing because the black dress doesn't really, like from TV, it made her look flat. Because it was black. So,
it was so tight, though.
Yeah, it was, but I just think it wasn't as hot because it should have been like a brighter color or something. Right. Now, this is me being very nitpicky, I know, but I just wish it could have stood out more.
It could have popped more.
Showcased something more, because that was kind of the point, is that she was going to overshadow Kelly. And to be honest, you put the two of them side by side, I don't see it. I think the only reason the guys were more attracted to her is because she was foreign and new.
Right.
And they're already familiar with Kelly in every way, probably. Honestly, I think Kelly's way hotter than she is.
Wow. See, I was going to pose that question.
Yeah, me too. So, who's hotter?
Wow.
Well, there's my answer.
Jamie, I don't disagree with that. I totally agree with the whole dress thing. I just think that you're right, too. It's probably just like a different look, different color hair, foreign chick. So that's why this is the scene, guys. I laughed so hard when they throw Kelly out of the way.
Yeah.
Dude, I laughed so hard because you can't fake that. That guy launched
he pushed her. Yeah.
He pushed her so hard that I rewound it like 3 times just to make sure that I saw what I was seeing was correct. Because I was like, oh my, you can physically see her like bracing herself. Like she was gonna, it was so messed up. And I was like, oh
It's this
my.
guy in this black leather jacket who does it.
Oh, it wasn't Bob?
No.
You would think it would be Bob, the alpha male, right?
Yeah. It's funny, when you type in fair exchange married with in Google, it'll show you a bunch of pictures from this episode, namely that scene. And if you keep scrolling down, it shows you our next episode, the search for Miss October. So that's kind of weird that the 2 in a row, it comes up with this thing.
I think she wore that dress a little better than Milla, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at that dress now. Jamie's right. It does come off as a little flat.
No, I mean in the next episode, Miss October.
Oh, God.
She wears that black dress a little better than.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, but I agree. I would still prefer Kelly, but she does have like really long, perfect legs, though, Yvette.
She does have really nice legs. I will,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will agree with that.
So that's tough to pass up. And plus, Kelly will always be there anyway. So if this girl's here and she looks like she does, it's kind of like, well, let's jump on this. And if this doesn't work out, we still got Kelly.
Right. And I think that's the whole thing behind it. And I do agree with what Jamie said, though. Like if they wanted to make it pop, they could have done a different color or, yeah.
It definitely does not pop. That's true.
But just for the record, I would choose Milla just because of what we were saying.
Right.
The unknown factor, man. Kelly's always going to be there, like you said.
Yeah, she'll be there if this doesn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
So Jerry Cohen does this thing where he pans through the Bundys' kitchen. So he starts off at Buck's dog bowl, and it's loaded with a steak. The Bundys are like devouring steak and chicken and bread and sides and blah, blah, blah.
Gluttonous. They are going ham.
Yeah. And the only one not eating is Kelly, because obviously she's... Oh, yeah, by the way, I don't want to gloss over. That look on Kelly's face after she's shoved in the lockers and she's just staring at all the guys on Yvette, that face read so true, man. Right. That is a high school girl in that exact situation, and that's the face she would have. Christina Applegate was spot on, just with a look. That was really good. And I think that's what puts the show, it makes it so great. Like a dumb 80s, 90s comedy sitcom, but the actors are just so spot on with every choice. So they are eating and pigging out, and Al actually toasts to the French, which, everyone will find out later on that he hates the French. So this is way out of character. But he even insults them, but he says, but they do write a damn good check or something like that. So that was funny. He'll never say another, compliment to the French again, though. Kelly's social life is dead. She is a bud. So she says to Peg, or Al, she goes, Daddy, what does a washed up has-been marry? And then he goes, huh, and he points to Peg. And then she goes, Mom, what kind of guy do you get when nobody else wants you? And she points to Al. Like, how perfect, man. Like, the two of them are exactly like they're at their lowest point when they chose each other. Like, how romantic.
And it just shows that all they care about, they're just so shallow and all they care about is food. Like, if they can have food, like, they just don't care about you at all. Which brings me to another really fun, I think it's probably the second funniest scene, where it's not a line, too. It's when Marcy walks in right after that. They both walk in. And the Peg goes over to talk to him, and they go and try and swipe her plate.
Oh God. That's the best.
Like animals, dude.
When Peg gets up to talk and the way she like scrounges everything together and throws and puts the bread under her arm, and she walks over to Marcy with a chicken leg or something hanging out of her, a drumstick hanging out of her mouth, another one in her hand, the plate, bread. It is like savage animals, man.
They're just so hype for it. It's
I don't
so
want to.
funny.
Oh yeah, I don't want to skip over Kelly's moment when this was actually pretty smart for her when she goes to the door and she's like, what does she say about the nerds? Is the group of or the
something
club?
Something nerd of the something club.
And then she opens the door and says, "Oh yeah, it's the founders."
Founders.
And I'm like, wow, look at her knowing a word like founders. I was proud of her.
Yeah.
She gets smart when she starts insulting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kelly's got some really smart moments throughout this series. Like even more so than I think probably Bud.
Yeah, she has those moments. It's weird. Whenever Kelly is not just being dumb and she has things going on and she has to scheme and stuff like that, she actually doesn't come off as stupid as she does when she's being stupid. You know, it's weird.
Right.
Marcy and Steve come over because they think they're breaking some kind of news to Peg because, now I thought when they first started doing this, I thought, wow, so they thought Peg was above that, huh? Like she wouldn't have a girl living in her garage for whatever reason. But it eventually becomes clear that they think they're breaking the news that Al is cheating on Peg, right?
Oh, yeah, and then he has a girl
again?
living in the garage.
Didn't we just do this, though, in the last episode without cheating?
Yeah, wouldn't that be crazy if Marcy goes, now, Peg, I know last week we realized it's not true, but guess what? He actually does have somebody he's cheating with. But they, wrote it better than that. But, it's funny. And then what's really weird about it is that they said they took pictures of Yvette. Now, I would, too. I'm not blaming them for doing that. But they have pictures of Yvette, and they still thought Al was getting her? Like, you had a clear view of this girl?
Yeah, well, you're right. Right. And also, too, with all these, with Marcy instigating this and then with Al cheating in the last one or whatever, as sleazy as the Bundys are, you find that it's more of the accusations than anything that create problems. It's never really Al doing anything that wrong. For instance, when he meets all these hot chicks or whatever, I never thought for a second that he would actually, well, maybe for a second, yeah, that he would actually cheat on Peg. But the shenanigans come where, because I feel like they just really do love each other. But then when you throw in stuff like that, then that's where all the sitcom shenanigans ensue.
Well, Al's willing to be inappropriate with hot girls, but he's never actually...
He's never done it, though. That's what I'm trying to say. As sleazy as they are, there is a line with all these people,
Well, Yvette was setting leaves on fire for heat in their driveway. Peg goes, oh, I know all about it. She goes, other than having to honk when I want to get out of the garage, she's really been no problem at all. Can you imagine Yvette is sitting crouched down in a garage and all of a sudden you hear beep? And then she looks and has to get up so Peg could drive out.
Move. They just keep her in there like an animal.
That's what it's like. Wow, man, that line just spoke volumes to how horrible this is.
It's so bad. It really is horrible. You're right.
So Kelly's super depressed, and Marcy tries to help and probably delivers her best moment thus far anyway. Definitely for the season, and I think this is a top 3 Marcy moment ever, at least so far.
Oh, now, Kelly. You mustn't worry over this. You may find this hard to believe, but I myself wasn't popular in school.
The hell you say?
No, it's true. I couldn't get a date with a cool guy, no matter how much I put out. Tried. So, I finally started dating a nerd.
You dated a nerd?
Yes. His name was... Well, his name isn't important. My friends couldn't believe I had sunk so low. Boy, did they laugh when I let him take me to the homecoming dance.
Wait a second. I took you to the homecoming dance.
That's right, you did. Anyway, we went on dating, and I endured the laughter and the ridicule. And I came to marry... Well, his name isn't important. The point is, yesterday's nerd can grow up to be a wonderful and giving man. So if all you can get is a nerd, I say, try one. I did.
Hey, wait a minute. I know who you're talking about. Let me tell you something. You think you heard laughter? Well, when I was dating you, I had a few milk bones slipped into my pocket.
I was pretty. My mother told me so.
Compared to your mother, you were.
So now you don't like my mother.
What's not to like? A 60-year-old woman who played the drums.
Nerd.
Eat, girl.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. The best is earlier on, she goes, well, we don't have to say his name. And then she uses that line again after she said, then I ended up marrying. Well, we don't have to say his name.
Right. Even more awesome, too, is we found out Marcy, before she met Steve, was a little promiscuous, huh?
Yeah, no matter how much she put out. Now, Jamie, did you have to resort to dating a nerd ever? Or do you prefer the bookworms?
I've always been kind of attracted to the geeky guy. Way before geek was chic, like it is now, but when I was in high school, I always liked the smart guys. Now, that doesn't mean that smart guys couldn't also be cool guys.
Right. Like, they might still wear chains and black leather.
We had honors. That was the thing about my high school is that, the head cheerleader was also she was in the running to be valedictorian.
Wow.
So, there was a mixture of cool people, smart people in my high school. It wasn't like a TV high school where you had, all the nerds with the pocket protectors that didn't do anything cool. That didn't happen. So...
Yeah, they just had acne.
I ended up dating some cool guys, but they were smart first, and that's always been what's attracted me.
Yeah, I guess it has become more of a hybrid thing, and shows like this still exploit the idea of a straight up nerd with a pocket protector.
So that's my future.
Well, that and 40 pounds.
See, another great Bud line.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
He's killing it.
So that's my future. He decides to turn around. Well, that and 40 pounds. Now, meanwhile, we all know Christina Applegate's hit A, and I will say that Bud was wrong.
Yeah, he was.
Doesn't look like she gained 40 pounds to me.
Nope.
So Kelly does resort to dating nerds. Like we said earlier, this nerd, Myron, spills prune juice right down...
Myron. His name's Myron.
His real name is Richard Israel. He was in Revenge of the Nerds 3. He played a geek in Saved by the Bell. And in 1997, he will return to Married with Children as a court jester in A Babe in Toyland.
Yeah, that's about right.
So he's played nerds in other places.
Well, I've had a great time, guys, but I got to run.
Kelly, you know what would make this the perfect evening?
Oh, what, Myron?
If Yvette would kiss me goodnight.
Do you think that would ever happen in a million years where it's because, okay, as much as I say, I prefer for Milla over Kelly or whatever, if I had the option and I was rapping with Kelly, you don't mess that up just to have, a small percentage of a chance with another chick. No, you write that out.
Kelly even, agreed to see him again at the Mollusk ever-changing convention or exhibit, right?
Didn't buy that at all. Yeah, I didn't buy that at all.
Yeah, if she says yes to you, you don't blow that just for a kiss from Yvette, which might not even happen.
He doesn't even know who he is, and he's just, really, dude? That's quite a leap. Like, okay.
He should have invited her to the Ticonderoga Pencil Factory tour.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what's weird, too? The look that she kind of gave him on the way out was just like, oh, my God, whatever. But it was still sexy.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? It's weird. That Ticonderoga pencil thing, that's actually real. It's a company called Dixon Ticonderoga Pencil Factory. It's in Florida. So they went to Florida and went to a pencil factory. Like, why would you do that? So Yvette was on a date with two guys at the same time. One was the roid rage guy, and the other was the guy who he talked to when he pushed him around. And that guy, the other guy's name is Hank in this episode. I love when they name people and never bother to say it on the episode.
Right. Hank, Bob.
Jamie, did you ever date two guys at once? Like, you ever go on a double date?
No.
And then have a third date lined up for after that?
Yeah, right? Yvette is, like, unbelievable, man. I wonder if she's...
Oh, she was on a tear.
Is she? Do you guys think she's going the Kelly route and going all the way with these guys? All of them?
See, I don't know. I often wonder how far Kelly actually goes to. Like, I mean, it's played up that she's this big slut, but I mean,
Right.
what's she really doing? You know?
Right.
Yeah, I think one time we uncovered that it might actually be true. So it's best not to think about it.
So it's basically whatever they can get away with saying on TV without being...
Right.
Yeah, okay. I got you. Yeah.
It's an odd observation with this guy, Bob, who did the roid rage thing, and this is why he stuck out so much to me. Because when Kelly took her coat off and her red dress was showing in the high school, and everybody ran up, he got very... He kind of flipped on the guy because he was very possessive over Kelly, like as if he wants her all to himself. And it's weird because his character is showing that Yvette is so hot that with her, he's just willing to share her as long as he can get near her on any level.
Right.
So that is pretty interesting. Like, if anybody would even remember that he's the guy who said, "Hey, I'm talking to Kelly." So that's pretty interesting. Like, that's what they're showing about Yvette compared to Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
So like Dan said, Myron wants a goodnight kiss from Yvette instead of Kelly. So he gets nothing.
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
You just blew a good thing, baby.
Bud is building a home entertainment center. So he's drilling holes in the wall, not to hang up a TV or anything, just to look at Yvette change or just sit there.
Oh, it's for ventilation.
Oh, right, so the heat gets in. How hot was it, though, when Yvette said,
"Oh, dude.
It's okay. I don't mind if you peep."
Had to pause the episode. Take a cold shower. I feel like she was always like this, though. That's what I'm saying. I feel like she was always like this and she was playing dumb.
Maybe you're right.
In the beginning. Unless she made that leap, too. But she was pretty ruthless to Kelly. She hit towards the end there, you know?
Well, excuse me, young lady. But where you think you're going?
On a date?
Oh, no, you're not. I got a call from the principal today, and it seems you're failing all your subjects. We just can't have that.
I'm failing too.
Kelly, please, we're talking to Yvette.
He didn't mean that, dear. You have to study too, I suppose. But if she fails, she has to go back home.
And we're out $500 a month.
Well, I guess we better study.
I'd love to, but I've got to go dust off my accordion for school tomorrow. I've got my eye on the big fat tuba player.
Oh, please, Kelly, you have to help me. I'll beg someone to go out with you. If I fail, I'll have to go back to France. And I'll have to give up all your boyfriends.
Like, I'm going to have to give up all your boyfriends.
Right.
You know, I'm just going to put it out there. I don't like her, and I'm glad when Kelly gives her the boot.
I don't like her.
I'm very protective of Kelly. I am.
Yeah.
I love Kelly. Just step off, back up and go back home and get your own boys.
Go home.
I mean, I don't like her.
Yeah, I don't like that she made a direct correlation that she took something of Kelly's.
Right. I mean, it'd be one thing if she was just, random guys or whatever, but it's almost like she was pointedly going after them.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And, she was rubbing it in,
Oh, she said, if you help me study,
I'll beg someone to go out with you. And I'm like, bitch. Like, I wanted her to punch her. I'm like...
Well, here's the sad part, too. Kelly actually got what she wanted. She got, like, a sister in the beginning of the episode, how she was acting, That's what she wanted. Like, not necessarily even like a timid person or somebody that doesn't know anything, which actually would coincide with Kelly's personality because she doesn't know anything either. But it's really sad. And here's the really messed up thing. I don't know if you guys noticed this too, but I did get a general sense of what they were trying to say with this episode. Not exactly with foreign exchange students, but I've seen girls become friends kind of and see the evolution of their relationship with like a nerdy girl. And then you see it like a year later, maybe like that summer, and that chick's like upped her game and she's hotter now and she's not necessarily the nerdy chick anymore. And then you get to the point where if they surpass that person that got him there in the first place, you see this weird like competition thing start to happen. Oh, yeah. Kind of like in Clueless.
Like Jawbreaker,
Clueless, right? Like
Clueless, yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen that happen before, and it's weird. So that's the general sense that I got from this episode, where I'm like, wow, I have seen this happen to a certain extent. Like I said, not with exchange students, but with that whole hierarchy,
Yeah.
And here's the point, though, I think, to the episode where I think, Jamie, when you said that you felt protective of Kelly, I think that's the whole point, right? So Milla had to be kind of a villain.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be, because if you bring in somebody lovable, then you got to keep them.
Right. I mean, Kelly's our girl, and we want,
Yep.
Yeah.
So she had to go.
Yeah, unfortunately, we won't be able to see that black leather mini for long. That's a damn shame.
We'll see another black dress in the next episode.
You're in for the night, no?
Yeah, right. Oh, she's ruthless to her.
God. Yeah, she was really... Yeah, you're right. I don't like her. But God, I do, though. Man.
I know. We'll just watch Dazed and Confused next week, Alex, for Cut to the Chase. Okay.
That's fine, yeah. Aaron will love that.
Yes.
Okay. So, I love Al and Peg coming in, and suddenly they're parents again. And like, whoa, no, you're not. You're failing your classes, little girl, and blah, blah. If you fail, then...
He's eating fast food, too.
Yeah. Yeah, they're always eating now.
They're like, no, he's just so cocky about it now, and he's just so arrogant where, whoa, as he stuffs his face with a burger.
And I took this little snippet out of the clip of Al and Peg talking to Yvette because I want to cite this as a sex point, so here it is.
Oh, stop it, Al.
I can't help it. I'm giddy. Must be from all this darn eating.
Yep, that's definitely a sex point. They're giddy. They go upstairs. Absolutely. Peg gets a sex point. Hey guys, want to represent the Married with Children podcast? Go to tpublic.com. TEEPUBLIC.com. Just go to the search bar and type in Married with Children podcast. They have everything you need to rep your favorite podcast: tank tops, long sleeve shirts, baseball t-shirts, crew necks, hoodies. They even have these in kids sizes. Phone cases for all different styles and sizes. Laptop case, stickers, wall art, notebooks, mugs, pillows, tote bags, travel mugs, you name it. They got it all, guys. And for great prices, go to tpublic.com for all your Married with Children podcast representational needs.
Listen, Yvette, there's no point in us both staying home. Go out, have a good time. I'll study, and when we take our test, you can copy off me.
Oh, you would do that for me?
Oh, what are little American sisters for?
Okay. Who wants seconds on crust?
I can't believe it. Yvette flunked every subject. She even flunked French. She must be the stupidest girl in the world.
Well, I'm the stupidest girl in America.
I know you are, Pumpkin, but we're talking about something important now.
Honey, you're important too. Just not as important as $500. Oh, Al, now they'll never give us another exchange student.
Yeah, I never got to use my holes.
What about me? I lost a sister. I'm hurting too.
Even fails French.
Yeah, how do you fail French?
Right?
I guess when you don't go, that's how you do it. Jerry Cohen, when he directs this episode, he decides to use the same exact panning that I mentioned earlier in the kitchen from Buck's dog bowl all the way up to the table. And this time, Buck's bowl doesn't have a steak in it. The table isn't loaded with food. No one's devouring anything. We're back up to that table, and there is a pizza sitting there. And it's probably like the third stage of that pizza, because now it just seems to be crust and things like that. Just the outer crust, I mean, the edges. And Kelly is literally happier eating pizza crust and having her social life and all the boys. Earlier on, she wasn't even eating when the table was loaded with real food. That just goes to show you that food isn't everything. It's more than that. Life isn't all about eating or having money.
Oops, my dates are here. Au revoir.
So now Kelly's dates are here. She says dates as in plural. I guess she's pulling an Yvette, and she says goodbye in French.
Sort of. Sort of. She tries to.
Au revoir.
No Ma'am will be right back to wrap up this week's review. Be sure to join their Facebook group page for all the podcast news and updates. Be sure to subscribe to them on the Apple Podcast app, and please leave a review telling them what you think of the show. To subscribe to their YouTube channel, just go to channels and search up Married with Children podcast. Now they're available on the TV Time app. Go to your app store and type in TV Time. Join their Patreon and support your favorite podcast with a small monthly donation. You can email them at marriedwchildrenpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for checking out this review. Now Dan, Jamie, and Alex are going to give their final thoughts on this week's episode.
All right, guys, how many holes are you drilling in the wall leading into the garage for fair exchange, Jamie?
I'm going to drill 5 holes for maximum heat exchange. I really love this episode. I love Kelly episodes, and because I love Kelly, and this I think is a good one, and I like to see her, reign supreme. So 5 for me.
Yeah, you like to see her in school and the whole dynamic of her and
Well, I just like to see her win. Also, this had a really excellent Marcy moment, which I thought was classic and fantastic. Even though Peg and Al didn't do anything really this episode except eat, it was that's what they do when they have money. They eat. So.
Right.
5 out of 5. Awesome. Dan, how many holes are you drilling into the garage wall?
Well, Alex, I would also say I'd like to drill the maximum amount of holes for, what was it? What did you say, Jamie? Maximum ventilation?
For heat exchange.
For heat exchange, yes. For the foreign exchange, heat exchange. No, I would give this 4.5 holes drilled, only because the 5th one he couldn't finish because somebody caught him drilling the 5th one. But no, see, I agree with Jamie about Al and Peggy in this episode. They didn't have a lot of lines, right? But that one Al one killed it when he over here. He yells out the time. It was so funny. That was great. And I agree with what you with what you guys said about just seeing the different aspects, seeing the high school aspect, seeing Kelly in her element was cool. Obviously, like I said, Bud had some great lines. Hot Milla Jovovich, obviously. I mean, yeah. What else? There was one more thing I was going to say. That's pretty much it. I think the episode overall was just fun. I don't know. Like I know I've seen better episodes than this, so I want to reserve that 0.5
right.
for because you know what I'm saying? Because I do remember absolutely loving it, so I'm trying to refrain from loving every episode.
Hey, you can. And not that I'm trying to encourage you to, but I'm saying, like, don't forget, like, our rating system is still Netflix. So if you really like it, 4. If you love it, 5. Like, regardless, dude, I'm going to tell you now, this season's pretty strong to me, so I'm going to end up loving a lot of them. So I hope that doesn't become obnoxious or repetitive. Yeah, like, I'm not going to hold back just because I might say that about 80 out of the next 200 we do. You know, it's if I love it, I love it. It's all good.
You know what? Forget it. It gets a 5. I'm with you, Jamie. It gets a 5. Not only because, too, I like it because, like I said, it has 2 of the funniest moments that I've seen so far, and they're not even lines.
Right. Like, what's not to love? I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, sure, we might get repetitive, but who cares? Like, we can't lie to you and act like we didn't love an episode just because we're going to give a lot of them a 5 out of 5. And they're not all going to get that. Believe me, we got a lot of seasons that it's not like the most remarkable episodes are in every single season. So that's not going to happen a lot. But it might get repetitive for the next 2 seasons, like this one and the next one, because they are the peak of the show.
I think then the biggest thing to come out of this conversation here is because I remember loving so many episodes. So, and yeah, I can't say that I don't love this one. So yeah, I give it a 5, but yeah, I think that may be the bigger discovery here. I may just love this show.
Too bad we still could. We should write down all of our ratings and see how we think about this show overall at the end, you know? That'd be funny. So, yeah, awesome. 2 5 out of 5. We'll make it 3, guys. I already said that I was giving this a 5. I love this episode. There's nothing weak or wrong about it. It's on point from beginning to end. I mean, just amazing. Right, starting with the pizza in the very beginning. The whole thing about the foreign exchange. Hey, over here, they come in, sleep in my bed, this side of the bed, the garage. The hotness, the high school, the background characters, the whole dynamic of Yvette stealing Kelly's boyfriends, how Kelly deals, what goes on, Marcy's amazing little segment there, Steve's reaction to it, the Bundys being in the background but never really feeling not there. They're always a constant, but they do give the spotlight to Kelly, which is great, and Bud just does not shine either. His interjections are phenomenal. Like, wow. Yep. Right. And right to the very end, where we find the whole like narrative of the episode is that, you know, if she fails, then they just say, well, you can't stay. You know, she's not doing well. We're taking her back. And then that's what happens because of Kelly's influence and horrible plan, which was obviously on purpose. And Kelly's happy again at the very end, and they're back to being the Bundys, eating pizza. I mean, it's like a great moment in time captured, and now they're back to normal. But it's always great to relive that great moment when Yvette was in the house for a week or 2 or whatever it was. Like, just really good stuff. Just love it. So that is a 5 out of 5, straight across the boards. That's normal to me, man. Season 4 is where it's at to me, so I'm so glad that that you guys see that too. Like how, well, I know, you know, you're both fans anyway, but that was definitely, this is known as the golden years of Married Children. So that was fair.
Isn't that a show too, though?
The Golden Girls.
Oh, okay.
And the Wonder Years. You're probably combining the two.
That's what it is.
So the next episode is Desperately Seeking Miss October, and I sure am too. When a sexy centerfold visits Al's shoe store, Al tries to retrieve his Playboy collection. You know, you weren't supposed to tell us that.
Spoiler.
Yeah, really. So there's only one thing that gets revealed at the very end, and that's about it. But thanks, guys. See you next week.
I never got to use my holes.
Oh!